Okay, now it is time to go on to the Pokemon battles. I'm going to do all 3 classes because when you go here, you can actually compete against other classmates in the academy. And you can see I already have a gold star for everybody because I already did it beforehand, but I'm going to go ahead and hit the option before starting. The students are eager to try out what they've learned from Earl. The rules are simple. You will be provided with a team of Pokemon from which you will choose 3 correct Pokemon. Then you will battle. If you win with correct Pokemon, you'll get a star. If you win with other Pokemon, you'll get a fire marker, like, it looks like the volcano badge. That's kind of neat. Just noticed that. A battle is already underway when you start choosing your Pokemon. You can't make intelligent choices if you don't know what kinds of moves your Pokemon have. Do you know how to check moves? When choosing battle Pokemon, hold down the R button while selecting. This will show you the moves of the selected Pokemon. Use this feature on your quest to star every student. And that was very well said. I couldn't said it any better. And yeah, basically like it said, you'll get a fire marker if you beat the students with Pokemon, but you did not pick the 3 best choices. And I'll go ahead and show you for each student which of those choices are. I'm going to actually go ahead and battle them. Let's go ahead and start with Camper Cole. As it said, you will get a predetermined set of Pokemon. And when you pick a trainer, it'll give you 3 options. You can battle them, look at a hint, or cancel. Obviously, I'm not going to cancel. The hint is if you're not sure which Pokemon to use against the trainer, you can pick this. And it'll show you like one of Earl's lectures to basically give you the direction that you need to go in order to pick the right Pokemon. So in this case, he's telling you to use Thunder against the Flying type, which is alluding to what this trainer is going to get into. He says here about the weak points of Grass-type Pokemon, so obviously we're going to do just that. So let's go ahead and battle him. The trainers do have different dialogue than what they're saying now before I actually got a star on them, so I'm sorry about that, so it's kind of like spoiling it. But yeah, he's saying, do you know the weaknesses of Grass Pokemon? And with the choices given, I see already what would be the best choices to use. And as Earl had said, you can check them by using the R button to check their moves. And we're obviously not going to use Kabuto, Pupitar, or Quagsire. The 3 best choices here are Pidgeotto, Beedrill, and Growlithe. Let's go ahead and get started. And I think this is kind of neat what they do here. They actually have a separate venue for the Academy battles. It's like Earl's Classroom is what this is. So I think that's kind of neat how they do that. And they started, or Camper Cole started with Sunflora. It doesn't matter what Pokemon he uses because they're all Grass type, so Pidgeotto would have been ideal against any of them. I went ahead and started with Pidgeotto just because it's a Pokemon I rarely use to begin with. I figured this would be a good time to kind of put it in the spotlight. And I missed, I think that was Mega Drain. It wouldn't have mattered because no Grass move's going to do that much damage to Pidgeotto. We'll just keep wing attacking it. It's super effective. Yeah, that was Mega Drain. Okay, I wasn't sure. Mega Drain does restore some of its health, but it's not a whole lot, so I'm not too worried about it. As you can see, Pidgeotto only has wing attack, so they already have it set up, basically, on what you need to do. Wow, it hung in with only 2 HP. Lucky. I blame Mega Drain. Stop restoring your health. You're just prolonging the inevitable. One more wing attack should do it. And it's okay if your Pokemon faints. That's almost always going to happen anyway. It's just because of the setup that they have it made so that you'll actually try out each Pokemon. And he has a Meganium. I guess that's how you pronounce its name. I never really knew how to pronounce that particular one. Of the 3 starter Pokemon, Chikorita's not my least favorite, but I don't like Meganium that much. I don't know why. I just thought Meganium looks really weird, like it just looks like they went off in a slightly different direction than I was expecting, I guess. And wing attack is ideal against it anyway. Nail the weak spot. What's it doing? Oh, Razor Leaf. I guess it only has that kind of move. Oh, we fainted. Well, no big deal. Beedrill would actually be a very ideal one to use here because Beedrill is both bug and poison, both which are resistant to grass. And Beedrill has Twin Needle, which is definitely good against a grass Pokemon, and it may even poison it. So go ahead and use Twin Needle. Hit 2 times. Yeah, Razor Leaf's not going to do hardly anything. Oh, it missed. It definitely didn't do anything then. Okay, use another Twin Needle. But anyway, what I was saying is I'm not that big of a fan of Meganium. Of the 3 starters, I like Cyndaquil, and I definitely love Typhlosion. I love what it evolves into. Well, it evolves into Quilava and then Typhlosion, but you get what I mean. But I do like Chikorita and Bayleaf, but then when Bayleaf evolves into Meganium, I don't know, it just looks weird. Oh, and Twin Needle will definitely be good against Parasect. Paras and Parasect have very many weaknesses, including poison. It's because of the combination it is, bug and grass. Poison's obviously good against the grass type, but because it has a combo of bug and grass, basically Paras and Parasect are weak to fire, rock, ice, flying. Oh, it's poisoned. Poison as another one. And there's one other one I had on my mind. I think rock even hurts it. Or did I say rock already? I can't remember. Oh, and it got hurt by its own poison, so it fainted. But yeah, they have several weaknesses. And that'd be the end of the battle. So you did a good job, Beedrill and Pidgeotto. And the other Pokemon I picked was Growlithe. I didn't use it, but even if I would've, it still would have done fine as well. But yeah, you need Pidgeotto, Beedrill, and Growlithe for that battle in order to get a gold star. Because those are the only 3 that have type advantages over his team. And yes, I do know how to exploit the weaknesses of grass Pokemon. And I picked my Pokemon perfectly. And let's go on to the next trainer, Super Nerd Melvin. He's talking about moves that are tough against fire Pokemon. Let's go ahead and battle. We'll be giving another unique team here. So moving on with the next skill test. The weaknesses of fire-type Pokemon. I can't tell you that. Well, you don't have to because I already know what they are. So yeah, as you can see, he has all fire Pokemon, and this time we have all normal Pokemon. And as Earl had suggested, we can check their moves by holding the R button. And Clefable has Ice Punch, Furret has Surf, Persian has Iron Tail, Stantler has Earthquake, Apom has Fire Punch, and Miltank has Rollout. So the 3 ideal Pokemon are Furret because it has Surf, Stantler because it has Earthquake, and Miltank because it has Rollout. I'm actually going to lead with Miltank, and Furret and Stantler will be the other 2 Pokemon. Let's go ahead and start the battle. So yeah, basically what this setup is you have to pick the Pokemon that have the best moves against the opponent, even though they're not that particular type. So he's starting with Quilava. Oh, I was just talking about that one a little bit ago. Anyway, my least starter of the 2nd generation Pokemon between Chikorita, Cyndaquil, and Totodile, it would definitely have to be Totodile. But keep in mind, I don't hate Totodile. It's just I like the other 2 better aesthetically. Totodile is still a good Pokemon to use. I am definitely not saying that, and I know it's definitely a fan favorite. But my favorite is Cyndaquil. It's always been. And because I had Gold, Silver, Crystal, I had the opportunity to actually start each one with a different starter. So that was kind of cool that I was able to do that. Although, my silver, I just keep restarting each time a Totodile on that one because it no longer retains my save data. Oh, my rollout missed. Shoot. What I had in mind was to keep using rollout because it builds power over time. Wow, Quilava actually beat my Miltank. How embarrassing. Moving on, we have Furret and Stantler. Oh, it doesn't show their stats. I was going to try to pick the faster one of the two. I'll go with Furret. I like how it looks. Furret's just, is basically the second generation Raticate. It's kind of mediocre, it's stat-wise, but it can learn a variety of moves, such as Surf. So it is versatile. And if you need Pokemon to learn a lot of different, like HMs, Furret's definitely a good choice to have. Because it can learn Cut, Strength, Surf. Can't learn Fly, but obviously. And this time he has a Flareon. Okay, talking about the evolutions now. My least favorite of all the evolutions is Flareon. And how do I describe this? I was gonna say, Oh, I remember. The problem with Flareon is it has a very high attack and low defenses. I think its special defense isn't too bad, but I know its regular defense is pretty terrible. But it has a very high attack power, and it's a fire type. That's not really going to benefit it. Even in the later generations, because most fire types are special moves. I guess the only one that would be ideal would be Fire Fang. Unless there's another fire type move that I can't think of. Maybe there is, I'm not sure. But anyway, that's the only thing I dislike about Flareon, is the fact that it has high attack and the fact that it's a fire type Pokemon. It doesn't really match it very well, so it's a shame that it has that kind of setup for its stats. I think its speed is also low too. It's not low, but it's not the best of the evolutions. And he has Arcanine. My favorite evolution, by the way, is Umbreon. And it's kind of the opposite of Flareon. It has very high defense and special defense, as well as decent HP. Its attack and special attack aren't the greatest, but because it has high defenses, it's definitely a good Pokemon to use if you want something that can hang in to endure a battle. So if like the opponent would use like Explosion or something like that, it could definitely survive something like that because of its high defenses. Any move really, but I was just saying Explosion as an example. But yeah, that's how you defeat Super Nerd Melvin. Just use the Pokemon that have attacks that are weak against fire Pokemon. Or attacks that damage fire Pokemon super effectively is what I should say. And in that case, the choices were Miltank, Furret, and Stantler. And that's how you get a gold star for Super Nerd Melvin. Moving on to the next trainer, we have Schoolboy Carson. And it looks like it's another battle about type matchups, so let's go ahead and battle him. A battle is waged with 3 Pokemon per side. Well, that's pretty obvious, I think, by this point. So let's see here. He has an Umbreon, a Steelix, a Donphin, a Sneasel, a Scizor, and a Golem. So he has a bunch of Dark, Steel, and Ground Pokemon. That's the common ground that I'm associating anyway here. So then, the Pokemon you want to use here, obviously, are ones that will have type advantages over it. So you're going to want to pick Blossom, Magmar, and Hitmonlee. I'm just thinking what order I should put them in now. Probably Magmar, because the Sneasel is a dark and ice type, so because it's ice it'll have a good advantage over it. So I'll start with Magmar, followed by Hitmonlee, and then Blossom. I guess it would have helped to check their moves. I still can, actually. Giga Drain, Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, Jump Kick, Sludge Bomb, and Psychic. So yeah, those are definitely the three you want to use. Magmar, Hitmonlee, Blossom. And it's hard to say which particular Pokemon he's going to pull out. So I may have to switch the Pokemon anyway, depending on what he picks. So what is your first choice? Golem. Yeah, I'm going to have to switch, because Fire is not effective against a Rock type. We shall use Blossom. Hitmonlee works good too, but Blossom is resistant to ground type moves, so I think Rock type even. And Grass has a 4 times effectiveness against this Pokemon. So yeah, use Magnitude, which will do very little damage to Blossom. We shall use Giga Drain. What's he doing? Oh, switching Pokemon. Oh, so he's going to play the same game as us. And he pulled out a Scissor. Well, looks like I'm switching back to Magmar. Bug and Steel is both weak to Fire. So yeah, Giga Drain did barely anything. Okay, switching back to Magmar. Because Scissor's probably going to use something like a bug move or something, it's hard to say. I'll find out when it's its turn. Steel Wing, okay. Well, Steel's not going to do much damage to Fire-type Pokemon, so Magmar didn't take much. And are you going to try switching out again? No, you're not. And that took you out very easily. And you fainted. It's probably going to use Golem again. Yep. So I'll have to switch back to Blossom. Switching yet again. The old switcheroo. I remember the Pokemon trading cards, and I just remember how, like, the Switch trainer card looks different between each generation. There was one that was just kind of, like, really goofy looking. But it basically shows, the card I'm thinking of, it shows a Kakuna and a Magnemite switching, and I just think it's really weird how it has them as the 2 choices on that particular card. I just always thought that was weird how they have it like that. And there we have it. Giga Drain took it out very easily. But yeah, I really haven't collected many Pokemon cards lately, but I did get some of the black and white ones a few months ago, but other than that, before that, I actually don't have... I have very few Generation 4 cards, because that was kind of the years where I kind of fell into a slump with Pokemon. But black and white helped me like Pokemon yet again. But I've always enjoyed the original Pokemon games as well, Generations 1 and 2, and even 3. I like 3 a lot as well. Generation 4 is definitely my least favorite of the 5, because Generation 4, there was some Pokemon that was cool, but it seemed like they focused too much on baby and other evolutions for all the Pokemon. It just seemed like that's all they kept focusing on, and they just kept repeating that same concept with like each Pokemon that they introduced. And the particular Pokemon during that generation weren't particularly my favorites. Not that I hate them, but just... I don't know, I never really grew attached to that particular generation. And again, for this particular battle against Schoolboy Carson, you need Magmar, Hitmonlee, and Blossom. You can start in any order with them. He's gonna pick something random, I'm sure.